Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Pick your mans up.
And just because people used to come through shooting us every day. And this block, words can't even explain, man. Can't even explain.
Yeah, man.
Little school Melly, 05 way on money.
Young Money, man. They in the building.
600 boy LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get it to him, man. OC2 boys, man. Team
Number 9, man. Number 9 shooter, you hear me?
Hey, bitch, you little bitch. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? Hey, I am Brick Squad. Yeah, Brick Squad, boy. What the fuck is you talking about, bro?
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you're 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
So don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
The story of 051 Woo. This is the story of 051 Woo, the younger brother of the infamous 051 Young Money member, Melly. Although Melly was the more famous brother, Woo himself was a very active member with bodies under his belt and was known as the General of 051. In the last couple of years, Woo actually tried to be somewhat legit, working and making honest money. But he still had one foot in the street, which in the end would eventually kill him. I hope you enjoy this story. .051 Woo, also known as the MellyWay General, was born in 1993, on the south side of Chicago. Woo, whose real name was DeAndre Golden, grew up with his brother Melly and his sister Kenji, where Melly was the eldest of the siblings. Woo and Melly have the same mother, NGB, but have different fathers. Woo's father, Jerome Golden, was sentenced to life in prison for 4 murders and an armed robbery. Melly's real dad was named Yammer Williams, Melly's stepdad, and Woo's father Jerome, who was also called Fido, was also the brother of G Slim from NLMB. So G Slim was Woo's uncle, and he was always there for all the siblings, which meant a lot to them considering that Angie B, the siblings' mother, died of cancer when she was 40 and Fido, Woo's father, got locked up when Woo was only 6 months old. Despite initially being sentenced to 4 life sentences, Fido was actually released on parole earlier in the summer of 2025. Woo also had a very infamous grandfather, Minister KT, who was the father of Fido. KT was the right-hand man of King Shorty, the former leader of the BDN who passed away in January 2012. Woo truly grew up in a famous and powerful BD family, so he had all the backing he needed while growing up. People looked up to his family, and having a family like that instantly brought respect. Woo grew up in the Randolph Towers, also known as the Met Buildings, with his siblings and his mother. Randolph Towers, located at 6217 S. Calumet Avenue, was known as the Black Disciples headquarters, where his father, Fido, was one of the key figures who ruled and set things in motion. After Jerome was locked up for the 4 murders and the armed robbery, the siblings moved with their mother to 59th and Calumet, in the 600 blocks. With a family and upbringing like Wu had, his path to a criminal life was never far from reality, even at a young age. He really didn't stand a chance. His life was already set for him, which is actually very sad. During his early teens, Wu and Melly moved around a lot on both the south and east sides of Chicago. For example, he lived for a long time with their grandmother, Alicia, and Melly's real father, Yamor. The thing was, the 2 brothers always stayed together no matter what and were very tight and close with each other, which will especially be shown later in the story when one of the brothers killed a man for money to get the other brother out. Wu was, of course, a BD like his father and grew up around many other BD members in the Randolph Towers. He often hung out with Bra from THF 46 and Lil Reese from Lamron before everyone eventually split into different gangs and became enemies or allies. Like many other kids growing up in that environment, Wu started acting out early, stealing bikes, candy, and cars, fighting, throwing rocks, and getting into trouble with his friends. Before we move on with Wu's life, I want to tell you about the history of the set he would later represent, 051 Young Money. 051 is one of the most well-known sets on the south side of Chicago. They are notorious for having an incredible number of killers with multiple bodies. The members of 051 are mainly Mickey Cobras, but there are also GDs and BDs, which Wu claimed. Some of the older members were even Stones back in the day. 051's territory is larger than what the average gang in Chicago controls. Most gangs generally control less than 2 square miles. But unlike most, YM controls over 3 square miles and dominates their local areas of Hyde Park, Kenwood and Eastern Grand Crossing. Their main territory stretches from King Drive to Woodlawn Avenue, between 53rd and 48th. This territory is shared by both 051 and Drexside. YM's history in the area stretches back to the Drexside Mickey Cobras. Although Young Money has a long history, it took time for 051 to truly establish itself. The set began to form around 2006 to 2007, and it was around that same period that the beef with THF 46 started. .051's history could be traced back to the 1990s, when the Mickey Cobras experienced a resurgence after members from 51st and St. Lawrence began identifying as the Lost Tribe and eventually expanded their presence from King Drive to Drexel Boulevard. Around the same time, the Mickey Cobras based in the Drexel Towers and nearby row houses started calling themselves 48th Drexside. Their main gathering spot was the Revis Park basketball courts at 50th and Drexel, which they shared with a Titanic stone set known as 52nd Drexside, a close ally reflected in their similar names. In 2007, a younger clique emerged calling themselves 51st Young Money. The group was founded by teenagers and young adults, DJ, Rilla, and Zeko, from 50th and Evans, just behind the Washington Park Plaza at 51st and Cottage Grove, which soon became their main hangout. Members of 51st Young Money also began frequenting Revis Park, forming strong ties with the Drexside Mickey Cobras. In 2008, 051 Young Money lost one of its most key figures, Zeko, a murder that would go on to define much of what followed. In late September 2008, Zeko was shot and killed by 051's primary rivals. The incident unfolded outside a McDonald's parking lot near 47th and Cottage Grove, where Zeko got into a heated argument with two 18-year-olds from 4554 Drexel View, now known as THF 46, identified as Aki Walton and Romel Outlaw. During the altercation, Aki pulled a handgun and shot Zeko twice, once in the chest and once in the back, before he and Romel fled northbound on Cottage Grove. Zeko was taken to the hospital but succumbed to his injuries the next day, on September 28. Aki was identified as the shooter and officially charged on October 6, 2008, but he could not be located at the time. Authorities later received a tip that he had fled Illinois and was hiding out in Indianapolis, Indiana, which prompted the FBI to get involved. After an 8-month manhunt, Aki was arrested on June 4, 2009, by FBI special agents and officers from the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. He was extradited to Chicago and, in 2010, sentenced to 27 years in prison. Zeko later became a frequent target of mockery by THF, as well as by members of 600 and O Block. In that sense, he took on a role within 051 Young Money similar to what Tuka represented for STL, as his name was repeatedly disrespected by rivals. In response, Zeko World was created to honor his memory and legacy within the 051 Young Money set. Following the deaths of Zeko, along with Loss and Lance, two members they had lost earlier, all the younger Mickey Cobras from St. Lawrence to Drexel came together in 2009, uniting under a single banner, 051 Young Money. Meanwhile, the Mickey Cobras from King Drive, also known as Guttaville, broke away and eventually became rivals to Young Money. Over time, many of the younger Mickey Cobras began identifying more with Maniac under the YM identity, distancing themselves from their traditional MC ties. 051 Young Money's first allies included Met Boys, Dirty Low, Lake Park, Lawless 035, and 5200 Drexside. On the other side, THF 46, their main opposition, essentially pushed 051 into a war. Initially, 051 wasn't heavily involved in conflict, but as THF 46 increased pressure and violence, 051 was forced to respond, with Rose often leading the charge on the front lines. .051 Young Money's earliest rivals included Drexel View, the BD faction of THF, 4624 Hit Squad, the GD side of THF, Welch World, WWDC, and Guttaville, GVG. In 2009, 051 was still trying to steer clear of open conflict, but relentless pressure and provocation from THF and others made war inevitable. By 2010, tensions had fully escalated. One notable incident occurred on March 9, 2010, just after dismissal at Diet High School, located at 549 51st Street. 2051 Young Money members, 18-year-olds Arrow and Rockhead, were walking together when Rio from Guttaville, standing about 25 feet away, opened fire on them. The two split up and ran in opposite directions, but Arrow was hit. Despite his wounds, he managed to walk across the street to Provident Hospital for treatment. While there, he quietly told detectives that Rio was the shooter, but ultimately refused to press charges. In another incident on December 2, 2010, 16-year-old Mark Campbell, better known as Lil Mark from 051 Young Money, was waiting at a CTA bus stop in the 8600 block of South Cottage Grove Avenue when he was targeted by a gunman. As the shooter approached and opened fire, Lil Mark drew his own handgun and returned fire, but was struck first. He was transported to the hospital and survived the shooting. Following the incident, he was arrested for unlawful use of a weapon. The shooter was later identified as Tracy, an 18-year-old member of THF 46. Just a few days later, 051 Young Money was involved in a deadly robbery that claimed the life of a local drug dealer named Stephen Billups. The incident took place at Stephen's apartment near 49th and Michigan, where Big A, D Streets, and Chop from 051 YM came to his door pretending to be interested in buying marijuana. After Stephen let them in, they revealed their true intentions, reportedly saying, "You know what this is," signaling the start of the robbery. When Stephen attempted to reach for his firearm, Big A pulled out a high .9mm handgun and shot him in the head before he could react. The trio fled the scene with flat-screen TVs and marijuana, leaving Stephen's gun behind. By 2012, the war between 051 and THF was still raging, and 2 more lives were lost that year. In May, Bob O from THF 46 allegedly killed Lil Chief. The story goes that Bob O caught him slipping in an alley on the 5000 block of South St. Lawrence Avenue in the Bronzeville area and shot Lil Chief multiple times in the chest with a .45 caliber pistol, leaving him dead on the spot. Not long after, 051 struck back, as Lil Mick and Rockhead allegedly caught Black from THF 46 and killed him in retaliation. The back-and-forth murders were becoming relentless, with each side losing members and immediately looking to even the score. At the same time, this was only part of the picture, as 051 was also locked in a deadly war with 600. In June 2012, during their heated conflict with 600, they lost one of their most beloved members, Fathead, also known as Fats. He was Montana's younger brother and close to Wu, making his death one of the heaviest blows Young Money ever took. Fats was only 14 years old when he was gunned down at Southside Hamilton Park, a loss that hit the entire set hard. The death of Fathead, or Fats, in 2012 carried layers of street politics and retaliation. Early rumors claimed that L'A Capone was the driver during the hit, and Fats' cousin Erica, who was with him at the time, said she recognized him. The story at first was that a van pulled up, with C-Dye firing the fatal shots. Some also claimed that Rondo No. 9 and D-Rose was in the van. Later reports told a different story. Police documents and witness statements pointed to S. as the actual driver, with OJ firing the first shots that dropped Fats. After that, C-Dye allegedly walked up and finished the job, shooting him 6 or 7 times in the head. In the chaos, C-Dye even dropped his phone at the scene but somehow avoided any immediate consequences. Word on the streets was that S. and OJ cooperated with the police. The killing left 051 reeling. Fats wasn't just Montana's little brother, he was loved and respected throughout Young Money, and losing him at only 14 years old was devastating. 5 months later, in November 2012, 051 retaliated. Kiddo allegedly killed Trix from 600, although Trix was already rumored to have been kicked out of his set for snitching on fellow member Dro Philly. Even so, YM wanted a bigger body for revenge, something that would send a stronger message. According to the streets, what truly led to Fats' death was a murder Kiddo and Melly had carried out earlier that year. The victim was Shaq, a member of 600 who was close to C-Dye. Some say Fats bragged about being the one who killed Shaq, and that's why C-Dye made it his mission to take him out. Shaq's death marked a major turning point. It was rumored to be Melly's first body, and he allegedly committed it alongside Kiddo. On February 2, 2012, Shaq was at a party, enjoying himself. At some point, he stepped outside to take a piss. That's when Melly and Kiddo allegedly pulled up and shot him down. Later, Melly even hinted at the murder in a video, mocking the way Shaq died, saying he was caught while taking a piss and clowning him for ending up dead next to a garbage can. A year after Fathead's death, 051 was still hungry to get back at 600. They wanted a big hit, something that would make 600 feel the same pain they had caused. That opportunity came when Lil Mick and Rockhead from 051 targeted L'A Capone, one of 600's most promising and well-loved members. As L'A was leaving a studio session, they ambushed him, hitting him with multiple shots to the lower back and thigh. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but the injuries were too severe, and he later died. The news shook the city. L'A was deeply loved by his homies in 600, as well as allies like Lil Durk, O'Block, 300, and many others who mourned his death. While 051 celebrated, it was said that Lil Mick taunted L'A before opening fire, telling him, "You can't run now." Lil Mick was eventually convicted and sentenced to 60 years in prison. He ended up in the same facility as Rondo and C-Dye. At one point, both of them allegedly tried to stab him with a knife, but he managed to escape unharmed. L'A's death also pushed C-Dye and Rondo over the edge. In their rage, they killed a cab driver they believed was involved. Both were arrested and are now serving 35-year sentences. The loss of L'A left 600 desperate for revenge. They struck back by killing Polo from 051, with Lil Boo being the alleged shooter. This was a huge personal loss for Wu, as they were very close. Still, compared to the impact of losing L'A Capone, Polo's death felt like a much smaller hit. Wu basically missed this entire period because he had been locked up from 2011 until December 2014. He spent most of that time incarcerated on a gun charge, along with other charges as well. One of the other charges was armed robbery, which made his sentence a lengthy one despite his young age and it being his first arrest. While in jail, he passed the time reading books and even playing chess through the ventilation system with his father, which is kind of crazy, father and son playing chess while locked up. By the time Wu was finally released toward the end of 2014, everything had changed. 051 was deep in wars with DHF, 600, and others, and the set had taken major losses. In 2014 alone, they lost Lil Mark, Polo, and Boom, all of whom were close friends of Wu. Once Wu got out, he was thirsty to get into the mix of the gang violence and was taken under the wing of his brother Melly. The two of them slid together several times. "2015 opened up rough for 051, and just a couple of weeks into the year, Frump from 051 was killed in January 2015 by Scooter from OBN. This death hit Wu very hard, as they had been close friends since childhood. A couple of months later, a member of 600, rumored to be Bite Down, who is currently incarcerated and accused of murdering his girlfriend, killed an individual known as China O, or Chinaman, from 051 Young Money. There has been debate over whether China O was actually affiliated with 051, as some claim he was part of Circon City, a powerful GD set on Chicago's east side with no prior history with 600. Regardless, it is widely accepted that his killing was retaliatory and aimed at 051. By April 2017, China O would be the last body directly linked to the 600 vs. 051 conflict. Meanwhile, Wu's brother Melly continued escalating the war with Lil Durk and his allies. In March 2015, he killed OTF Chino, Lil Durk's manager and a member of DHF 46. The hit was reportedly meant to provoke Durk, who had been openly disrespecting 051, mocking Lil Mark in videos and releasing a Finito remix threatening Young Money. Melly even posted a video on Twitter directly addressing Durk, calling him a fake gangster and mocking his claims of being capable of the violence he rapped about. Days later, Chino was killed, and Melly continued the disrespect by going on Instagram Live, eating a burger, and calling it a Chino burger, laughing about the killing. Up to this point, THF 46 had more bodies on 051 than the other way around. In May 2015, just a couple of days after China O was killed, Wu himself came very close to losing his life at the hands of THF. Wu was sitting on a porch when THF slid through and opened fire. He was shot but ultimately survived after receiving treatment at the hospital. The member who allegedly carried out the shooting was DP from THF 46. After the shooting, DP mocked Wu on Twitter, posting things like, "Ask Wu how them shells feel," and, "Caught Wu on that porch, you should have seen his face." Wu was extremely lucky. He could have easily been killed, but that day, it simply wasn't his time. It wasn't long before another shooting erupted. Bezu's stepson, Raheem, decided to step up and target Melly, Wu's older brother. At the time, Raheem was only around 14 or 15 years old. Not only was he Bezu's stepson, but he was also Duck's cousin, and Duck and Melly were close friends. It's said that Duck warned Raheem not to go through with it, but he didn't listen. Raheem shot at Melly, hitting him in the foot and allegedly grazing his head. The headshot is said to have come from TP, the one who had just shot Wu, and who was present with Raheem at the time. Melly survived. He was furious and prepared to retaliate. Raheem had also shot Ario from 051 in the shoulder, so he should have known revenge was coming. 2 weeks later, Ario and Melly were driving when they spotted Raheem in an alley. Raheem was killed on the spot. It's unclear who fired the fatal shots. Some say Melly, others say Ario, but both were present. Legally, Ario was charged with the murder, suggesting the evidence points more toward him. Still, Melly is credited for the hit as well, either for being involved in the shooting or for firing some of the shots himself. As is often the case in situations like this, retaliation came fast. After 051 caught Raheem, it dealt a serious blow to Bezu and THF-46, and THF was quick to look for payback. In August 2015, Westbrook from THF-46 allegedly caught Wank from 051 and killed him. Wank was an OG within Young Money and was 35 years old at the time, making his death especially damaging to the set. The shooting reportedly happened in Kenwood near the 4900 block of South Drexel around 8:30 p.m. According to witnesses, a white SUV pulled up, and the front passenger, allegedly Westbrook, jumped out, pulled a handgun, and fired multiple shots before running back to the vehicle. The SUV then sped off northbound. Wank was hit in the back and arm and was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 9:04 p.m. His killing marked yet another major loss for 051 and further escalated the ongoing cycle of violence between Young Money and THF-46. Wank was a leading figure among the younger members, someone that many of the youth, especially Wu, looked up to and respected. Wu continued to get locked up on and off throughout 2016, mostly for petty crimes. That same year, the cycle of violence between 051 Young Money and THF-46 continued. Over the course of the year, 4 murders would take place. Some people don't count Taiwan's death as a direct gang hit, but it was undeniably fueled by the ongoing conflict between the two sides. The first major killing occurred on June 10, 2016, when T-Berg from 051 Young Money was shot and killed in Englewood. He was walking on the 200 block of West Garfield Boulevard when Roman Tracy from THF-46 allegedly approached, reportedly looking for ops. Around 8:45 p.m., according to Chicago police spokeswoman Officer Barry Lemon, the two men opened fire. T-Berg was struck multiple times and suffered numerous gunshot wounds. Emergency services rushed him to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, but he was pronounced dead at 10:35 p.m. No arrests were made in connection with T-Berg's murder, meaning Roman Tracy remain alleged killers. Another 27-year-old man was also shot in the chest and leg during the incident but was transported to the hospital in time and stabilized. The shooting also sparked attention on social media. In a live stream, Drilla from 051 and Tracy from THF-46 were seen, with Tracy openly claiming T-Berg's body and yelling his name. Drilla reacted strongly, saying, "He's going to jail." Whether this was simply trash talk or something more will never be confirmed, but Drilla's reaction made it seem as if he had some connection to the situation, even though he is only alleged in relation to the murder. In November 2016, Wu's brother, 051 Melly, struck again, once more targeting THF-46. By this point, Melly had already built a reputation as one of 051's most notorious shooters, known not for music, but for his actions in the streets. That month, the victim was Trayvon from THF-46. The killing took place on November 30th, around 8:05 p.m. on the 6800 block of South Cornell and South Shore. Trayvon, who also claimed Marvin World, lived just a few houses away from Melly on the 6400 block of South Ellis, in Snow Block territory. Police found Trayvon's body in a gangway with gunshot wounds to the head and stomach. It remains unclear whether Melly followed Trayvon from his home or caught him while he was in Mall Town, an area where Melly had strong ties and frequently hung out. There were also rumors that TTB Nez may have been present during the hit. THF-46 retaliated quickly. On December 2, 2016, a shooting occurred in East Hyde Park. Shawt Mac, a 33-year-old member of 051, was walking through a park on the 5400 block of South Cornell when Rome from THF-46 allegedly pulled up behind him and opened fire. Rome was reportedly wearing a mask during the attack. The next major killing came in 2017, when Bobo from THF-46 was targeted. Bobo was a high-ranking member of THF and had been locked up since 2015 on armed robbery and murder charges. In March 2017, he beat his case and was released from Cook County Jail. Just minutes after leaving, he was picked up by friends, and almost immediately ambushed. As they drove away, a white car pulled up carrying Rose, Uchi, KD, and Kurt Mack, who opened fire on Bobo's vehicle. Bobo was hit multiple times and died on the spot. During the chaos, the shooter's car ran a red light and crashed into another vehicle, forcing them to flee on foot. Bobo's attorney later said he had warned him to leave the neighborhood immediately upon release, but word of his freedom spread fast. How the shooters found out remains unclear, though many believe the information was leaked. His death was a devastating blow to THF-46 and significantly escalated the ongoing war. For 051 Young Money, especially Rose and Uchi, the hit was seen as a major score. Bobo had long been distant viewed as a serious threat in the streets. On June 11, 2017, Wu was locked up for unlawful use of a weapon, and that didn't sit right with his brother Melly, who wanted his little brother back on the streets. What came next was insane. Melly was willing to go to any lengths to get Wu out. According to police wiretaps, conversations were recorded between Wu, who was locked up in Cook County, and Melly, who was free, plotting to murder someone for money in order to bail Wu out of jail. The person they were allegedly plotting against was Lord from Pocketown/Quiet Money, someone Melly was actually friends with. According to sources, both Melly and Lord were known as cold, calculated killers, and both allegedly had money on their heads. It was said to be only a matter of time before one of them killed the other. Sure enough, on June 13, 2017, just days after Wu was locked up, Melly allegedly killed Lord, reportedly alongside Wu's uncle, G Slim from NLMB. After the killing, Melly even uploaded a photo of himself with Lord and paid homage to him, despite allegedly being the one responsible for his death. In the end, the plan failed. Police caught on, and Wu was not freed, but neither Melly nor Wu was ever charged with Lord's murder. Wu remained locked up for some time, and in late 2019, he suffered one of the biggest losses of his life while incarcerated in Cook County, the death of his brother, Melly. While Wu was behind bars, the focus of the ongoing violence shifted, as 051 Young Money's conflicts began spilling over to involve their allies as well. One of the heaviest blows Young Money ever took was the loss of 051 Melly. As mentioned earlier, DB, Motor, Melly, and FBG Duck had long served as key links between 051, Taekwon World, Jaro City, and STL/EBT. Tensions began rising mainly between 051 and Taekwon World after Melly and Nate started beefing over dice games. Things escalated when Melly allegedly opened fire toward Nate's house, where Nate's baby mother and newborn were inside. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but from that point on, retaliation was inevitable. In September 2019, Melly attended a party alongside 051 members Lil Greg and Shawnees, several Jaro City members, and FBG Duck, following the death of one of Duck's friends. Melly was warned to stay alert, as ops could potentially show up, but he didn't take the warning seriously. There was no plan set up, just a lack of awareness. Nate learned the location of the party and arrived with Dro, opening fire on the gathering. Melly was struck during the attack, a moment that marked a turning point in the ongoing violence and ultimately led to his death. Once Wu got out, he was thirsty for revenge and was heavily involved in creating MellyWay. In fact, Wu was the general of MellyWay and was involved in several shootings in revenge for his brother's death. Before getting into the killing of Wu, it's important to highlight his honest and genuine attempts to step away from the gang life. In 2023, Wu got a job as a construction worker and even posted about it on Instagram, encouraging others to leave the streets behind. Later that same year, he enrolled in trade school and went on to graduate in December 2024 as a certified solar technician. Wu was also featured in an interview where he spoke about constantly thinking of ways to do something positive for the youth and how he could become a better role model for kids growing up. However, despite Wu's efforts, he still had one foot in the street. He continued hanging around in Chicago with members of 051, mocked Zoo from THF 46 after his death, and was featured in Drilla's music video where Zoo was disrespected. Wu was also constantly getting into arguments on social media with rival gang members. The most notable incident came when Wu walked up to 600 Breezy while he was recording a vlog in enemy territory. Wu calmly approached and asked, "What's going on here?" A heated exchange followed, and shortly afterward, a shootout broke out in which Wu was involved. In the end, Wu never fully left the gang life behind. He wasn't completely in, but he wasn't fully out either. Now we have arrived at the end of this story, and that is of course what happened just a few days ago, namely the murder of the main character in this video, Wu. Wu was gunned down on December 28th in the 12,200 block of Western Avenue in Blue Island. Before the shooting, Wu had been at Tommy's Bar and Grill celebrating with his family, marking his father's return home after serving 20 years in prison. Videos from that night show Wu happy, dancing, and enjoying the moment. After some time, he left Tommy's and began walking to his car. That's when two gunmen ran up on him and opened fire, shooting him multiple times. The medical examiner's office later listed Wu's cause of death as multiple gunshot wounds.
There's a shooting.
It remains unknown who actually killed Wu, but there is strong evidence suggesting that THF was behind the murder as revenge for the killing of Bezu. Police did make an arrest after Wu's death, but it was not one of the shooters. Instead, a woman was taken into custody for allegedly dropping Wu's location to the shooters, which is believed to be how they were able to find him. Following the murder, THF heavily mocked Wu and 051 and claimed the killing is get back for Bezu, the late leader of THF 46. Since Zu's death, THF appears to have been on a violent streak. Just a few days ago, one of 051's leaders, Rilla, was gunned down, allegedly by THF. Rilla is believed to be THF's second or third get-back killing. Rumors now suggest that Rilla is a high-priority target for THF and may be next. The identity of the woman arrested by police has not been released, and it is still unclear whether she has any direct connection to THF 46. However, if such a connection were to come out, it wouldn't come as much of a shock.
Yeah, we smoking on that Wu Melly. That Wu Melly. Say Wu Melly.
What is that?
No, it's nothing. It's not nothing. Just say Wu Melly.
Wu Melly.
Wu Melly.
Wu Melly.
Wu Melly.
What does it mean?
Wu Melly. Nah, Wu Melly is just a pronoun and a synonym.
Oh, okay.
It's Wu Melly. They not here no more.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll let you.
Yeah, Wu Melly it's Wu Melly, but Wu Melly not here no more. So they, man, that boy,
Hey.
you put the Wu and the Melly together. I promise you, you're gonna have a great day.
I am, because I'm going to say Wu Melly all day long, and I'm going to remember you all day long too. Just
Yes,
because
ma'am.
you made me say it, not
Yes,
made
ma'am.
me, but
Yes,
had
ma'am.
me say it.
Yes, Wu Melly.
Oh my goodness.
It's important to note that it's still unknown whether 051 Young Money was actually behind the murder of Zoo. However, if it's true that THF is responsible for the last two killings of 051 members, both of whom were well-known faces, it increasingly points to the possibility that 051 was involved in Zoo's death in some way. If 051 did play a role, then this likely marks only the beginning of a long cycle of retaliation from THF. Wu was a deeply respected and beloved member. He had been an active moneymaker and shooter for years and held a high rank within 051 Young Money. His death is not something the set will take lightly. 051 is almost certainly looking for revenge, but the real question is how capable they are right now, and how willing they are to strike back, because THF is angry and clearly not backing down. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, and may God bless you all. Let me know what you want to see next.